We're down at Southbank today, 2 years to the day since I ran the paintboards at the Ridiculous Pool in California on a much hotter day in a nice blue sky. But we're running them again today to save the Southbank, or at least demonstrate the cultural significance of the Southbank, both to visualised and athletic artists.
Well, it's essentially remote control parts from remote control helicopters, cars, planes, but some of the elements wouldn't withstand the impact. Some of them are too big, so they had to be scaled down. So there's a lot of bespoke wiring. All of this structure is all machined from aluminium bespokely. So it's and it's 5 of them. So it wasn't just making one; it was making like a bunch.
Yeah, rocket launcher.
From skateboarding, it introduced me to Thrasher magazine. Thrasher magazine had loads of amazing skate graphics in it. The skate graphics were drawn by amazing illustrators, Jim Phillips, Vernon Cornwell Johnson. It was that form of illustration and art that appealed to me. My mum would take me to see like Turner and Constable and be like, this is amazing talent. And I could appreciate the technical ability, but it didn't speak to me in a voice that I understood or felt appropriate to my generation. So it wasn't until I discovered who those illustrators were, I discovered pop art, and those things kind of joined together, and it showed me that there was another way of being an artist other than this very traditional format, which I'd always been taught, and it was skateboarding that brought me into that. It encourages you to be creative. You know, again, you look at skaters that code to the same spot and you work out certain lines, you work out certain routes and certain tricks, and then someone that comes from another side busts a different line across that same set of banks, and suddenly you're like, wow, I didn't really realise you could take that route. So you're constantly looking for different ways to look at the same objects. And if you take that same aesthetic value and you apply it to an art piece or a creative process, visual creative process, it teaches you to think outside the box.
The spray can is touching the floor and I can't skate. So I have to put some riser pads so my trucks are higher. I got really old wheels, so they're really small.
Chewy is much more, you can see it's much more comfortable on his board. It's like taking much more fluid lines and carving, and then experimenting, like going around the pillars repetitively to get that line working down. So kind of understanding what you can get from the device, the paint device, and working with it as a skateboarder. I thought it was an 87 for some reason. In my head it seemed to be 87, but it was 88, and it was basically they were going to bulldoze. At the time it was like they're going to bulldoze the Southbank, they're going to get rid of the banks, and it didn't seem surprising because the security had already been trying to chase us off. They'd priced up the paving slabs there, you know, they're trying to stop skaters from skating that area. So when they said they were going to bulldoze it, it seemed very real, very likely that they were going to do that. And the Smell of Death Jam was organised, and again it was just done by word of mouth. Be there, I think it was a Thursday evening. I don't even remember what month it was, but I was going to make sure, damn sure that I was there, and it was packed from front to back with people that are there to show support for what this place was to skateboarders and still is today. And again, the security went against us, and they were trying to break up the paving slabs, and all they did is just made more objects to skate, and they made it into a better event than it would have been if they'd have just left it alone. And I think the show of force and the strength of numbers of that event got them to think actually there's something more to it, and for whatever reason the plans were halted and it became a skatable spot.
This is fun. Look, we're like performance artists and we're spraying some stuff on the ground. I don't know. This is sick. I love this. Something different, you know. Change something every day, you know. Change a little bit. Do something new, you know.
It's always unexpected, you know. You really don't know what you're going to get, but you get this amazing pattern work. It becomes like a weird, abstract, almost Jackson Pollock style painting. And what's interesting to see all the different lines the skaters take. And it's the first time the floor's been painted at Southbank properly, so mission accomplished. Yeah, it's rad, dude.
AWAYnow. Yeah. AWAYnow. Yeah. AWAYnow.
Everything from there up, backing up to Westminster Bridge is slightly naff. It's not a particularly enjoyable place. It feels like, you know, you've got your giraffe, you've got your Wagamums or whatever you've got, and you've got a whole rafter of stalls selling overpriced sweets. It's not really the place for me that it encourages creativity. You know, the thing about skateboarding at Southbank is you don't have to be into art, you don't have to be going into a gallery, you don't have to be into a particular artist, you don't have to be into music. You can walk past there, you can see some kids skating, you can see some kids doing graffiti, and that's inspirational for the everyday person, and that's inclusive, not exclusive. And that's really important.